I'd like to welcome you to our panel, Spread the Health, a discussion on the COVID vaccine and healthcare mistrust in the Black community.
This is Spread the Health. It is a discussion on health disparities that affect the Black community, and it is presented by Celtics United and Point 32 Health.
Feel free to utilize the chat if you have any questions, any comments. We want this to be as engaging and interactive as possible.
Every healthcare organization must make health equity a strategic priority and make it a part of every process and every decision that they make.
Well, I want you to think of today as a mental health clinic.
Your mind is a muscle no different than any other part of your body, right? And I talk to players and athletes about you can't just train your body from the neck down, you have to train it from the neck up.
And then just feel both your feet on the floor. See if you can have a little smile. May I be well.
When you look at cities like Boston, food insecurity rates from neighborhood to neighborhood are incredibly drastic. Anywhere in Massachusetts, on every single day, folks, there's nearly 500,000 people that don't know where their next meal is coming from.
This volunteering event that you all volunteered for is a bit different from what we typically do. Instead of highlighting those health disparities and talking about them, we already know they exist. You all are going to be volunteering and actually addressing the chronic illnesses that community servings tries to address.
I know that as an organization and all of the colleagues who I speak with are just passionate about this issue, and so it makes me feel good to work for an organization that cares so much about food and what it means for health.
1, 2, 3, Celtics!
Can you hear me? Oh, good. That was wonderful. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I am Peggy Bird. I am the Chief Marketing Officer for Boston Globe and really excited about moderating this conversation. So we're going to jump right in because we have 22 minutes and counting. So I think Allison is going to join us, but I'll start by introducing, oh, there she is. Hi, Allison. First of all, thank you. You must be incredibly busy today, so we appreciate you taking the time out. So for those of you who don't know, Allison is Vice President of Team Operations and Organizational Growth for the Boston Celtics. She is a former professional basketball player, a global citizen, and a trailblazer in the sports industry who is highly regarded for her leadership skills and her strategic approach to building a healthy, strong, and inclusive organizational culture. She is one of a handful of women and women of color to serve as an executive in an NBA front office team. Beyond the court, she serves as co-lead for the Boston Celtics United, the Celtics Social Justice Initiative to impact social and racial inequities in and engage with Black and Brown communities. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me.
You're very welcome. And Kate, glad to have you here. Kate Wallace is Vice President, Health Equity and Clinical Innovation at Point 32 Health. She is a seasoned clinical executive leader at Point 32 Health. As Vice President of Clinical Innovation, she leads a team focused on advancing healthcare technology solutions to improve care and outcomes. They seek partnerships to explore innovative approaches like digital therapeutics and precision medicine while minimizing costs and gathering real-world data. And there's more and more. Incredible. So I'm going to jump right in. I'm really excited about this conversation because we want to, obviously the video set us up nicely in talking about this issue, crisis actually, of health disparities. But we're going to focus on partnership and collaboration to move the needle forward in terms of solution. I am a huge believer in collaboration. I think that it is the single most effective way to move any agenda forward, no matter what the industry, but particularly when we're trying to solve health problems. So I'm excited about this conversation. So I'm going to jump right in and start with you, Allison. So you've been busy on the court. Are they going to win tonight, by the way?
No, we're going to try our very best to check and get the Instagram around and they look great by then, hopefully.
Great. Well, we're thinking about them. So you've been busy on the court, but even more so off the court, addressing racial equity through the Celtics United Fund for Social Justice. Can you briefly describe at a high level what Celtics United is?
Yeah, you spoke to it really well earlier when you were reading about the bio, but it's a team effort, it's a partnership across our organization from our key investor stakeholders to our boots on the ground team members who work with the Celtics day to day. It's really a multi-focused commitment. $25 million at least over 10 million. I mean over 10 years. Just addressing racial injustice and social inequities in Greater Boston with an emphasis on these long-standing, systemic issues that promote the racism in our institutions. It's focused around 6 pillars that we identified at the onset of the program: equity in education, economic opportunity empowerment, voting and civic engagement, equity in health, which we're going to highlight today, criminal justice and law enforcement, and breaking down barriers between communities.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you. Kate, can you share a bit more about Point 32 Health's overall efforts and the efforts that your organization is making to address social inequities, including inequities that are related to health?
Sure. And Allison, I got my green on for you today, channeling some. So we at Point 32 Health have a unique purview into the needs of Massachusetts residents in that we serve all segments of the population, from Medicare, Medicaid, commercial, all lines of business. Health equity is a key driver for our organization. It's not something that's optional. Starting from the top of our organization, our CEO is one of the founding members of the Health Equity Compact, which just had an event last week, and that's 80 plus leaders from across different sectors of the healthcare advancing with a goal really around advancing and driving health equity changes in achieving health equity and eliminating disparities. So for us, like I said, it's definitely a priority for the organization. I think the challenge in healthcare is that healthcare is very much illness focused and very reactive. And we as a healthcare plan need to be thinking about how can we provide high quality, affordable care for our members and work with communities and with our members to shift these inequities that are within the community. So thinking upstream to health-related social needs, social determinants of health, which have a huge impact on health outcomes. And one of the ways we internally have resources internally that work within our organization, an incredibly impactful resource. I'm a nurse by training, but I never really had a full appreciation for the impact that community health workers have with people in the community. And I know there was a panel just recently about community health workers. And these are frontline public health workers that have a unique perspective and understanding of the needs of the communities because they live in the communities, they understand the culture, the language, the perspective of the people that live there. They have the trust of the community, which is incredibly important, especially when it relates to health equity. And they can drive the changes around helping people navigate the healthcare system, but also navigate things like community-based resources, just counseling members on healthcare. So I'll give you one anecdote just of a recent case I read about as far as successes in the healthcare space as it relates to our community health workers. Our community health workers, in combination with Mass Health's match program, was able to secure stable housing for over 200 of our members. That's incredibly impactful, and that's the work that we need to be doing in this space.
100%. I mean, we could have a whole conversation on accessing the community and scaling up resources in the community. I mean, that's something you hear a lot about, is that there are all these wonderful projects and initiatives going on, but how do people actually access and how do you make it available to the everyday person? That's a different panel. We'll have to bring that back.
Next one, right?
Yes, that's the next one. I think it's an important conversation. Allison, let's hone in a little bit on the Celtics United. Can you talk about the health equity component, as you mentioned, is one of the pillars?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give a quick shout out to two of my teammates at the Celtics, Mackenzie Henderson and Cash Cannon, who you see featured in the video there, for their leadership with this particular pillar, health equity. They've been able to identify, several areas in which we've been able to, through partnership, make real impact. One of those is the Spread the Health initiative, in which we delve into several topics around health and wellness that, particularly are beneficial to the Black community. We've hosted a multitude of sessions with Point 32 Health around the maternal health conversation, where we discuss these disparities in Black maternal health and the Black maternal health crisis that continues to persist in the U.S. Curbside care, it's an amazing program, amazing partnership that we have with Boston Medical Center, where we provide dyadic care to mothers and babies pre and postnatal. The Black maternal health crisis, as I mentioned before, Black infant mortality is 3 times higher than white infant mortality in Boston. 29 to 44% of Black women experience postpartum depressive symptoms. So, this curbside care unit, it literally goes to the community to service the patients and their babies, and just it's really life-changing for a lot of them, because it immediately breaks down a lot of the barriers to healthcare, a lot of barriers to wellness, which in turn is a barrier to life chances, to social chances. So really, really, really proud to be associated with those things.
That's very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Not to dramatize a point, but I don't know if you saw Serena Williams' HBO, it was a few years ago.
Right.
And she's Serena Williams, and she literally had to argue to get the care she needed when she was about to give birth. And so imagine if somebody of her stature who has resources and knows how to advocate, but had to advocate for herself, what's happening to Black women across the country. And those stats that you just read are very real and profound. So for both of you, I'm asking this question: what makes this partnership between Boston Celtics and Point 32 Health impactful?
Do you want me to jump in first?
You go first.
Well, the title of this panel was Driving Equity as a Team. So I think that health equity and eliminating health disparities is a team effort. It can't be done in silos. It's the power of local brands. I mean, we've got this winning team of the Celtics, and Point 32 Health is a regional payer. Through collaboration, we need to act locally to drive change. I think we're aligned in that respect, that we need to act locally, investing in the community, convening, collaborating, and amplifying where we're seeing impact. I think coming together in Boston, I think we have a unique position in that we're renowned for healthcare in this area, not only because of the quality and caliber of our providers and provider organizations, but also the level of innovation and technological advancement that is the birthplace of in Massachusetts. So thinking about that, and also the healthcare reforms from our area serve as the basis for the Affordable Care Act. So we have a unique position, and we have the resources in this area to really differentiate and transform and drive that change that we need to see. We need to be the change that we want to see and have that winning mindset.
Yeah, I would wholeheartedly agree with that, and really thankful for the partnership, because at the Celtics we are grounded in the community. We're a community organization first and foremost. The main thing is the sports and the entertainment aspect, but without the community and that give back and that investment and growth in the community, we aren't who we say we are. And these partnerships that, together we can make that much more of an impact exponentially with those in our community. So that's really what it's about for us.
Absolutely. And I will add 2 things. You're not just writing checks, because it's easy enough for organizations to do that, and people write checks and check a box and say we've done something. You're really doing the work on the ground. And you're also I think the ideal collaboration is when you partner with somebody who doesn't have your expertise, but has your interest and passion. That's always, to me, a incredible component. And that requires suspending your own sense of, we know what we're doing, and we're going to be vulnerable and share, and then come together. So
absolutely.
Kudos to both of you and your organizations. Kate?
Yes.
You all have worked on health equity efforts with Boston Medical Center and other provider groups. Can you speak to the ways that Point 32 Health addresses health inequities, especially in maternal space? Well, we talked about this a little bit more. Do you want to dig a little
Yes,
deeper?
no, I can share a little bit about what we're doing. I know, Allison, you shared about your work with Boston Medical Center. Point 32 Health as well has been working with Boston Medical Center as well. We have a 3-year partnership or collaboration. It's focused on maternal health as well, on reducing disparities in Black and Hispanic birthing persons where you see disproportionate maternal health complications or pregnancy-related complications. And the goal of that partnership really is around access with the outcome of the anticipated outcome is double the number of doulas that the BMC members will have access to, and incredibly impactful resources for maternal health. We also have partnered with Ariadne Labs on their Team Birth project. We at Point 32 Health have invested in they are able to roll out with 9 additional facilities within our geography. And that model is really around communicating and elevating the voice of the birthing person, respecting cultures and communication styles, and really around safety and dignity in childbirth. And then I guess lastly, I would say in the video, and we've talked about food insecurity, it's not only something from a maternal health perspective, but it's vastly, there's so much of it within our geography that I don't think we all appreciate how much of a challenge it could be for people to have food or be food secure. So we are partnering with Women and Infants in Rhode Island in Meals on Wheels, so securing healthy meals for pregnant people, and then also working with Cambridge Health Alliance and Good Measures for people that are at risk for diet-related diseases that can be due to food insecurity. So helping them to get access to medically tailored, culturally sensitive foods and nutritional counseling as well.
Wow, that's incredible. So is there a timeline for your partnership, or is it just in perpetuity? Have you said you're going to do it for...
With the Celtics? I think we should be forever, right?
In perpetuity?
That makes sense.
I love that. I think you should. And last question before I open up to the audience. So how are you measuring impact? I mean, this is an incredible initiative. What does success look like, year over year? How are you measuring?
So do you want to jump in first, or would you like?
I'll just speak to the success of the curbside care program. I think the ultimate goal is to continue to, we have right now, I think 1 unit that is servicing at least 450 moms and babies, and providing food to 84% of the families through the BMC food pantry, and then following up with 100% of the curbside care patients receiving lactation consultation. Stemming and growing from there. I don't think birthing persons are going to stop birthing human beings. So we definitely want to be a mainstay in the community and continue to grow the partnership.
Great. So I have to ask this question because I'm representing local media and national media. So what role can media play in helping you get the word out? Or do you have challenges, or do you find it to be an easy platform?
I think that there's always room for media to amplify the work that's being done, to amplify the voices of the people in the community and amplify the message so that we can continue to move the needle. I think when you have, within Massachusetts, we have $1.5 billion in avoidable spend that's driven by health inequities. That's appalling. It's this health equity is not only a moral imperative, it's a health and economic imperative. So we need to, the status quo isn't working, it's not optional, so we need all the help we can get to move the needle.
Great. Thank you both so much. So we have a couple of questions that have come in. For a partnership like Point 32 and Celtics United, how do you select your goals and initiatives to prioritize given the number of areas to have impact? It's a great question.
It is a great question.
You want to take that, Allison?
I think first and foremost, we make sure we look through whatever we do through a racial equity and social justice lens and make sure it aligns with our organizational mission, both with with our own and with the partner. And we want to make sure that we are able to have direct impact and chart out a path of success so that we see the return on the investment.
Okay. Oops. The Celtics United work is great, but how do you bring players to the table to make pilots like the Curbside Care program sustainable and paid for?
I think, I don't know how much, that's a great question, but I don't know how much the one who asked the question knows about what our players do in terms of community work. They are league leaders and on the front lines of community work in terms of what they do day to day to impact the community. This particular program, Boston Celtics United, was designed alongside our players. And if you can, peruse through the work that we do, you see our players are at the forefront of every initiative that we have, whether it's the Power Forward grants, whether it's the Raise the Age and other legislative initiatives that we're advocating for passage, the Curbside Care program. You see last year, Grant Williams, this year, Derek White, Luke Cornett, very present and not only donating their time, but also their platform to raising awareness around what's most important to them and what's most important to the community. So I could go on and talk about him. I haven't even mentioned Drew Holiday, who has his own personal foundation that funds Black-owned businesses on a major scale. So they're definitely doing the work. We're just very proud as an organization to be able to accompany them in their passions for making an impact in the community.
Do you accept outside funding from individuals or other organizations for these initiatives?
Yes, we can definitely provide the website for donations to Boston Celtics United, a link. And I can put my Venmo up here.
That's wonderful. I don't think we have any more questions. So I just want to thank you both so much for this very, very necessary, important conversation. And I do want to figure out how we can go to the next level and talk about access, because I think, being on the media side, but just belonging to other organizations, people are like, how do people get this information?
Right.
And how do they access this information? And then you are dealing with cultural issues such as fear and not trusting the system and all of those things. So I think that'd be a wonderful thing to talk about because the commitment is there. So
absolutely.
Thank you both, and thank you, Point 32 Health, and thank you to the Celtics, and go Celtics!
Yeah, go Celtics!
Thank you.